Mecca Banner Podcast. We are live here on this cold and rainy Friday afternoon in St. Louis for a Friday edition of Mecca Moments. I'll be hosting today, Bucci Main. I got DoBes with me, the two lads, just two of us today. But we had to record because we had some world-breaking news in the world of football. Jurgen Klopp will be stepping down from his position as the Liverpool manager at the end of the season. And there's obviously quite a bit to talk about with Klopp and what he's done, and I guess what his future may be after he takes some time off. But Dobes, I feel like we got to start off with, obviously it's very shocking news. It's definitely shocking to me as a Liverpool supporter. I wasn't expecting it to be this year, but just the world of football in general definitely had their head turned around today when they read that notification about him leaving.
Sure. Yeah. We'll say this. I mean, some people have their birthday they look forward to. Some people have Christmas. I've been looking forward to this day for, I'd like to say, a very long time. Obviously, the Klopp news is an absolute shock. I'm really curious to sort of hear your perspective. Obviously, as a United perspective, Liverpool has sort of tormented us over the last, 5-6 years, even if not a little bit longer. So the fact that he's leaving, Ten Hag's quota has come to an end. I didn't exactly expect it to happen this quickly. But at the same time, I could not be more thrilled that it fucking is, because Liverpool have had our number over the past, almost decade, it seems like. And so the fact that he's leaving, it's about time you guys, the cycles are shifting. It's about time you guys dealt with some help. But I'm really curious your opinion, just from your perspective. Obviously, I know that, Klopp's brought in sort of the most successful period in quite some time for Liverpool, if you want to call it success. To compare it to United, this is probably like Mourinho leaving for us, won a couple trophies, probably a little bit overrated for the time that he was there. But yeah, man, I'd love to hear your perspective on just sort of what he means to Liverpool. And then I'm happy to give him some flowers as well after you go.
No, 100%. So if you want my honest opinion, I've been thinking about this all day since I woke up to the news. If you think about Liverpool as a club, I think Klopp is the best manager we've ever had, along with Kenny Dalglish, in terms of impact. And obviously, Klopp won numerous titles. He won a couple Mickey Mouse Cups, FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League, FIFA Club World Cup. This guy won everything you can win during his tenure. So he's up there, arguably, as the best manager to ever grace Liverpool Football Club. And that's why it's so hard for us to accept, because I think what we're going to miss the most is his style of play, like his heavy metal, balls to the wall style is something that I've fallen in love with, because Liverpool never had that. I mean, we never had this sort of philosophy ingrained in our players. We had a few good eras. We had a few really good squads that competed. You think back to when Luis Suarez was with Liverpool, when they, obviously the Stevie G slip, that's, we were 2 points away from winning the league. That was a hell of a team. But that era lasted 1 to 2 years where we were really good. This has been Klopp's going on his 9th season. So ever since he came in, maybe besides his first year or two, we've just been dominating multiple competitions. So this is a hard thing to take for me, because Klopp changed my perspective as a fan of the club for so many years. He changed so many things for me, for other fans out there. But it makes you worry. We're going to talk about who we think is going to come in here in a bit, but whoever comes in has big shoes to fill, because the expectation for our club at Liverpool is we are now one of the dominating forces in world football. We make it to the semifinals or final of the Champions League a lot in the last 5-6 years. We've been in the Klopp's had 3 seasons out of the last 5 where we've gotten 90 plus points in the Premier League. So you think about things like that. 1 title. you had to throw that in there.
1 title during COVID. Okay, continue.
Bro, if you even try to asterisk this time.
Bro, keep going.
But there's just high expectations, big shoes to fill for the next manager. You're taking over for a guy who's revolutionized the club, and also Klopp, in a sense, has kind of revolutionized the league with the style that he brought into the Premier League with the gegen pressing, heavy metal football. So it'll be interesting to see that. But if I were to guess what Klopp's next steps are, I think he takes a full year off with his wife for sure. I don't think he goes anywhere. He came out today saying he will never coach another English club. And I believe him. I do 100% believe him. I don't ever think he'll coach another English club. So I could see him maybe, going to a national team or back to Germany, maybe back to Dortmund. I could see that in the future, going back there for the last, decade of his career and bringing Dortmund back to the heights that they were at when he was there. So, it's a sad day, bro, but at the end of the day, we're going to win the league this year, so we're going to go out on a high.
With Klopp, and this is I'll actually give him his flowers. I do think in terms of I guess you can say between him and Kenny Dalglish if you want for best Liverpool managers of all time. Before I do give him his flowers a little bit, if you were to tell me that, especially with the United Liverpool rivalry, if you were to tell me that United was going to go on a 10-year drought of being terrible, and Liverpool was only going to win one title, and that was going to be our down era. I mean this genuinely, and that was going to sort of be our down era. Genuinely, that's insane, because what we've seen is over the last decade, it's been Pep Guardiola and it's been Jurgen Klopp. And like you said, it's Klopp does have those teams that have 90-something points and haven't won the league. And so we're living in a time where it's Klopp probably, without a Pep Guardiola coming to City, probably has 4 or 5 Premier League titles. And so he did get unlucky. But I think the biggest thing you hit the nail on the head when you talk about Liverpool is very few clubs from top to bottom, relationship with the fans, sort of have that culture that Klopp built. It's almost like he's a great manager. Not only that, he has this sort of us against the world mentality that he's connected with the fans. I think the only way to kind of describe it that I've seen is I almost like to think of Liverpool kind of like a national team. There's very few teams that have that pride that genuinely play for the name on the front of your shirt, kind of like they do for the national team. But it seems like Klopp has always sort of been able to replicate that. And he's gone through, kind of like you mentioned, he's gone through 1 or 2 rebuilds, kind of real rebuilds where he's had to get center backs out. Yes, they were down, you guys were down last year, but then he still tries to, he finds a way, and here you're back at the top of the table this year. I think the best part about Klopp in terms of just what he brings is he brings that passion, that fire, that energy. As much as he's annoying in press conferences, as much as it's annoying seeing him run down the touchline, that's what he's best at. He was best at building a culture and, really uniting an entire club in a time of not turmoil, but it was definitely down years for Liverpool for sure. And that's what Klopp, has been so successful doing, which I think it's like you said, the guy that comes in next, it's going to be really, really hard, not just because of the success that's continuing, but Liverpool's losing their director. You're losing Klopp. You're losing sort of all these pieces that have been the foundation of the success of the club over the last, 9 years. And so I think that's where it's going to be hard to replicate. But, I think Klopp probably top 6 manager of all time in the Prem, top 5 if you want to give him 5th. I think that's accurate.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, obviously Sir Alex will always be the undisputed. Him and Pep. If Pep keeps going. Pep keeps going,
Pep, Jose, there's a Arsene, there's a list that's tough. And again, it's it kind of does. I mean, as a neutral, not a United fan, it does kind of suck because the battles that we've gotten to see from this Liverpool team and this City team over the past 5 or 6 years is incredible. I think it's something I think I saw something. It's Klopp and Pep have played 15 times, and I think it's been or something like that. I know that Pep's only beat him one more time, and Klopp's beat him, and the rest are draws. It's these are 2 teams that have been arguably two of the most consistent teams in the world over the past 5 years.
Yeah. I think one more thing to add about his time is people don't understand how good Jurgen's ability was to turn players into world-class players. He brought in Mo Salah, who had a good year at Roma before he came. He was a Chelsea reject, quote unquote, and Klopp has turned him into one of the best players to ever grace the league, ever. If you look at his stats, he's up there with the best of the best. He did the same thing. Sadio Mane came from nowhere, Southampton. Klopp turned Mane into a world-class superstar.
Yeah.
Bobby Firmino was a absolute key piece to us for so many years. Played for Hoffenheim, brother. Hoffenheim, who I don't even know if they ever played in Europe. Like, he's taken so many players and just elevated their game because he, like you said, he's that man manager who can just elitely tell a player what he needs to do to help the team improve. And then he gets them to do it at the top level. So that's going to be something that we're going to miss if we don't get the guy that I want to take over the reins. And it's not Steven Gerrard because he can stay.
We need it. We need it.
No, bro, I love Steve. Stevie's in my heart forever for what he did as a player, but he needs to keep developing over in fucking Saudi Arabian league he's in. He needs to get some more experience before he takes on that kind of role. But I think that kind of leads us into maybe who we think's going to take over for Jurgen. Everybody's thinking the same thing. You think Xabi Alonso, right? Like
Gerrard, man.
Nah, bro, give me Alonso every day of the week, twice on Sunday. Right now, in this moment, if you were to pick one guy, it's him. He's young. He's shown this year that what he can do with a club. Leverkusen haven't lost a game since August. They haven't lost a single game all year. Did you watch them play Leipzig last weekend? Did you watch that game?
Yeah, I did.
The way that Alonso has Leverkusen playing, like when they're on the ball, it is so fun to watch. The intricacy, the passing, the movement, like it is so fun to watch. And if we get that at Liverpool and Xabi brings in some of the guys that he wants, oh my God, I'd be so happy as a fan for the future. But you got to think, like, if Alonso ends up winning the Bundesliga, does he just stick it at Leverkusen and keep going until things turn bad, or what? It'd be a hard choice for him to make because he's transformed that club. But who do you think? Who do you realistically think takes over for Jurgen?
It's tough. I think there's a short list of like 5 names. I do think Xabi Alonso is like I would hate it because I do just love the guy. He's got the swag. He's got the aura. Like, he's been there. He's done that. They play beautiful football. I don't think it's instant success for Xavi if he comes into the Prem. Like, it's just a different beast. It's just a much different beast than the Bundesliga is. Much different expectations. Obviously on a club like Liverpool. I think it makes sense to be him, but I don't know, because I think this appointment needs to not happen, but I think they need to know who their guy's going to be within the next month and a half. Reason being is because you think you got to start planning for, one, you need a new director to come in, you need a new assistant, you need a new staff, you need a new transfer plan for the summer, you know, the style of play you want to play, all this different stuff. And I just hope that, like, Alonso's doing, like, on this journey to do something special. You know what I mean? Like, if he wins a league title with Leverkusen against this Bayern team, like, it'll be electric. And I do think he makes a lot of sense. And other names I've heard, like, thrown around is I've heard De Zerbi's name thrown around. I've heard Graham Potter's name thrown around. Like, Nagelsmann's another name that's been thrown around. Like, I just do think that there's a ton of these guys that are out there. I do think Alonso also makes a lot of sense for Real Madrid. Like, I really do think that, like, if Ancelotti leaves, I don't know if he's ready for that job. I do think that there's plenty of opportunity for him. I think if you're a Liverpool fan, like, you have to expect that maybe the next few years, not that the level will drop off drastically, but, like, I think it's very tough to expect instant success for whoever the next manager is. But I think if you're a Liverpool fan, you kind of want to be in it for the long haul. Like, Alonso makes the most sense. Like, he's young, he's ambitious, he plays a pretty style of football. He knows the club, he understands the history of the club. Like, he makes too much sense. I just hope if they do end up hiring him, I hope it doesn't affect what he's doing at Leverkusen for the rest of the season, because I would hate to see that get derailed. You know, they're on the verge of doing something special, and it's almost looking more likely as the weeks go on.
100%, dude. And I like one of the names that you threw in. If we get Graham Potter, brother,
freaking Pooter, man.
if we get Pooty Magooty, I'm gonna be so pissed off, bro. But I would take Chirby. I love his style that Brighton's playing. They are fun to watch, and I think you give him a better quality of squad because obviously the players at Liverpool, you got some players that are just different level than you do at
Yeah.
Brighton. So I think you do if you do give him some world class players, I think he would be a really good manager for Liverpool. But Alonso makes the most sense. That's the hope for me, and I'm sure thousands of other fans in the world that are thinking about the news today and who's going to come in and take over. But regardless, man, Jurgen deserves his flowers for everything that he's done. I'm super proud of where he's brought the club. And I mean, we had 30 years of drought, man, from our last Premier League. He was the guy that changed it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're experiencing 10 years of drought right now, and you've got Spy Kid's thumb man trying to change that for you, Mr. Ten Hag. So, it's like after all those years of that, you kind of are thankful for what a guy's done for the club. So shout out to him, man.
Bro, I will say the timing of the announcement, like I do wonder when the players found out. To me, I have this hunch that the players have probably known for a while, and it's kind of like spurred this. Butch is in his classroom and his lights just went off. If you're watching, if you're watching the YouTube, but I do think the timing of it all is a little bit weird. And what I mean by that is, like, to me, this can go one of two ways. And I think the scary part for United fans and the neutral is that I think part of me thinks that this news coming out now is what could spur them on to a title. They want this guy to go out on top, like they rally behind him. The other side is they could crumble. I doubt that's going to happen just because of sort of his mentality. But I do think this is part of Klopp's continuous man management, plays the media, knows how to get the best out of people. I don't think this timing's a coincidence. I think we're getting ready to start the second half of the season right now. We're back in and week out. I think Klopp and the club know what they're doing right now, where he's trying to spur them on to a title, and he wants that extra bit of inspiration, which truthfully, it's brilliant. Very few coaches, I feel in any sport, get the opportunity to go out on their own accord. They're sacked, they're fired, or they go out after loss. But Klopp being able to do this in sort of a way he wants, and also try to spur them on to a title, is I think sort of the exact sort of swan song for towards sort of the end of his Liverpool career here.
Dude, you literally just stole the words from me. That was really well said. I think this was planned.
It had to have been. It had to have been.
100%. Because in the interview today, he told the director, the board, that in the summer that this was his last year.
Yeah.
He told the board months ago. Obviously, I don't know if he told the players then or not, but the whole world had no clue. So he gets halfway through the season. He looks and goes, "We're top of the league by 3-4 points. This is what's gonna push us on to win the league." The players are gonna buy in and say, "Shit, our beloved coach is out. This is it for him. We got to win the league now." He did it perfectly, absolutely perfectly. 100%.
You know the other side of it. It's this is where the United fan of me comes out. You know what I found more annoying than anything in the entire world? It's you got to be a sports fan to understand it. But Coach K, Duke basketball head coach, the year before he was getting ready to retire, he announced to the entire world that he was getting ready to retire. So that way, every stop that he went, every away game, all the people gave him, a high five, some claps. We're yeah, way to go, Krzyzewski. Fuck that, dude. I hate that. I hate that. It's he wants the attention to be about him. And I do think Klopp has a little bit of that look at me sort of attitude. But I also think that Klopp's best known for his man management. And I do think that this is probably him trying to spur them on to a title. I will say it is kind of annoying the fact he did it. As happy as it makes me, it is kind of annoying that he did do it in the middle of the fucking season.
Yeah, because now you're over there trembling in your Lulu joggers right now.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Because
are you serious? We gotta go to Anfield one more time still, bro.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Bro.
I know.
Klopp's last rivalry with United at Anfield, that's gonna be crazy electric.
Oh, it would double.
That would be crazy, bro. That'll be a
Oh,
fun game for us to watch. But I think we've kind of hit everything here, man. Like Jurgen, yeah, we're all gonna miss him at the club, obviously, but the dude deserves his flowers. We've given him his flowers. I know the other lads aren't here, but as much as a few of them hate Liverpool, I think they would have given him a little bit of flowers for what he's done for the club.
yeah. I mean, of course. Like the thing with Jurgen is, it's like everybody respects him and based off results, know that he's a good coach. It doesn't mean he's not a fucking wank when he gets in front of the microphone. Like we can have our gripes against him and think that he's terrible in front of the media and all this different stuff, but at the same time, like, gotta know he's a good coach. You know.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, you know a good coach when you see one. You'll know right away. So, well, folks, that's going to be it for us on the Mecca moments here today. Coming to you live from Lafayette High School, baby, in my classroom. In my class during at the end of a long school day, we hit you with a good little surprise episode about the legendary Jurgen Klopp leaving Liverpool at the end of the year. From Dobes and myself, wish you guys a good weekend. We got a good surprise for you on Monday. We'll see you in a few days. Appreciate the support.
Check us out on our socials. New episodes every Tuesday. Peace.
Yes, sir.